Okay, so I'm going to put this clip in before you watch the video. I was kind of all over the place talking about this four-wheeler. I didn't quite know what was wrong with it. Come to find out, it was just a carburetor. I'm going to talk about how I changed out it, and I still got to order a fuel pump or a fuel petcock switch on it. That'll be in another video if you guys ever want to see me change out that. But in this video, basically what I'm going to be doing is changing out the tires, changing out the carburetor, changing out the oil, and that's basically what you're going to see in this video. So I bought this four-wheeler yesterday. That I was doing this guy's downspouts, and he wanted 400 bucks for it. So I went in and bought it. He said it was not running. He said he parked it when it was running. Basically, it was all sputtering. It didn't really want to stay running. The only thing that's wrong with it is that it's not running, and it needs a couple new tires because they were all dry rotted. Other than that, and then yesterday I bought a battery just to make sure it would turn over and make sure that it was running, and clearly it was. So what I'm going to do is take off this carburetor, and I'm going to change out this thing. Okay, so it's been a few hours now. I went out and got a spark plug for it. Got the new one in there, and right now I'm just checking to see if gas is just getting to the carburetor for right now. Okay, so we just took off the fuel pump, and it looks there's nasty gas that's coming out of it. I mean, that's what came out of it. But on top of that, we do not have any fuel coming through here. Now the reserve, the prime is the only one that works. The reserve is on. Prime is the only one that works. Okay, so I made a video about this four-wheeler a week ago, basically. I was trying to clean out this carburetor. You'll see it, and I put some clips in it before about me messing with it, but I cleaned out the carburetor, and I cleaned out all the jets, made them all clean, but it would still not run. You'd still have to put your hand over the carburetor to get a vacuum around it, and yeah, it just wasn't working. So basically now I went on eBay and bought a new carburetor for it. I think that one was 130 bucks for it. I'm gonna go and take this off and stick on a new one. See this thing run. I show trying to get this carburetor off and what steps you got to do to take this thing off and to change it out. I already got all the pieces off, but the only thing you got to do is take off this side panel here, the two side panels. You got to take off this lever here. It's just two Phillips screws in the back of it. You got to take out all these screws here, all of them that go and match up with it. You got to take off the gas cap in order to get the plastic piece to come off, and you're basically right on into there. You got to take off two gas tank clips so you can raise it up so you can get way underneath there and get a lot of room. Do is take off like I said, it's just all the screws you take off, then you get down to that. Put the gas tank back on, the gas lid, make sure no other stuff gets down into it. Just basically to your air box. Get right on into there. Now to take off the gas tank, these two bolts, they're just two 10 millimeters to take these two off. Make sure you unhook the gas lines that are going to the fuel petcock, going to the carburetor. That way you can lift this off. Really, to take off this gas tank, you don't really have to take it off. You can just set it up, prop it up on top of the gearbox shifter. Have it rest on there, and you have plenty enough room to be able to get down on it. Now the only thing that is there to take off is take off these two clamps that are on the carburetor that are holding it to the motor. You just gotta untighten them. The two clamps I meant were for going to the air box. The one clamp that's on the back of the carburetor going from the air box to the carburetor, and the the air intake that's going to the motors to take off that clamp as well. Just unscrew it. You don't have to take it off. Just let it where it can slide around. I still think it's so much easier to just sit back on the ATV with the throttle linkage cable. That's on the other side. Here, I have it zoomed out, but right here's the throttle linkage cable. You just gotta take off the cover of it, just with a Phillips head. I'm pretty sure that is an 8mm wrench or socket, or just a wrench that you're gonna have to put on it. I'm just gonna take a pair of adjustables to it, just because I don't have my other toolbox here that has the 8mm socket or wrench. The boot that's on the throttle linkage that we can get if you're taking adjustables. The easiest way to get to it is going from the top of the gas tank. You just feed it out, feed it around it, and pull it back. And back to over here, the only thing you gotta do is, you still got, this is for your choke, is right here. You just gotta watch out for that. You can't really get it off until you get it out of the motor, or out of the, but you just pull back on it till the carburetor comes out. Make sure you unhook the idler adjustment. It just pops right off. You just pull it up. That way you don't pull on it on the way out. And then the best way to do it is make sure this airbox boot isn't getting in the way of it. But you just slide it out towards the left side of the unit. Send on the back of the seat. And it just slides right on out. Just easy and simple. And like I said, before you get it all the way out, make sure you take off the choke cable. Only thing you gotta do is take needle nose pliers. Basically, it should look like this when it comes out, or that's what your carburetor should look like coming out of there. Only thing you gotta swap out on these two is just take the vent lines that are going to the petcock. You gotta just switch out the vent lines. I just got is basically hook back up your choke cable. Okay, after further looking at it, I had to turn it off. The choke lever went on into it totally fine. You just have to match up the old pieces with it. It will go into it. It kind of drove it. So now, what we're going to be doing is putting it all back together. And the vent line all back hooked up back up to here. I still don't know what these two lines are going to. I just started it up. It is running fine and idling. Now I guess it's just to tighten down everything and take it out for a ride and see what it does. And here, that's it running. Hear that everything's running okay. And it runs like a top. I put a new spark plug in it. That should help it out also. Now I'll go take it for a test drive and fill up my tire. I'm going to make the next video on about changing out these tires. I just ordered new ones and we'll go from there. Okay, so this morning I made a video on fixing this ATV with putting on a new carburetor. And now, since I just bought this thing, the guy sold me it. It's definitely gonna need new tires. I was riding around with it this morning, and you always had to add air in this tire, and it finally popped, and now it won't hold any air, as you can see. So now I'm going to take off these 4 tires. I got new tires that just came in today. Here's basically the before and after. I think they're the same exact tire that's going to be on these. And to get these wheels off, they're just 17mm socket is the only thing you need to pop off these lug nuts. Okay, and I just got the first tire off. Let me go get the rest of them off. But I should be doing it with a jack, but my tires just came in that I ordered, so I figured that I should, and it's about 3 o'clock, and I figured that I should hurry up and get them switched out if I want to drive this thing later this evening. Oh, and then the rotation of these tires, these are just straight Walmart tires for like 230 bucks. You got them mounted, and the rotations on them, make sure the rotations are going the right way. Other than that, they're all good to go. See how these rotations are all going, the rotations the right way. It looks a lot better than before, than all those old tires. Makes it look a lot better. I just changed out the oil filter. I'll go get some oil for it and go get it hooked up and running. Okay, so I just got back from O'Reilly's. Normally I put Pennzoil in all my little motors and stuff, but they didn't have any Pennzoil, and well, they didn't have any 10W40 Pennzoil, so I'm just gonna put the regular O'Reilly stuff in it. I'm not gonna run it for too long. I just put you know, about 50 hours or so on it, and then I'll change it back out again. But we're gonna go and add it. It says online it takes 3 quarts or 3.17, so I'm gonna go ahead and put 3 quarts in, make sure get it to where it says 2 quarts on the bottle, and we'll go from there. Make sure I see it on the dipstick and start it up. Enough in it to where I can get it to flat ground. I'm gonna let it fire it up here. Here it is, put it in gear, go in reverse with it, get back there with it. Other than that, this thing, other than putting a carburetor on it, found it on Facebook Marketplace, and here it is now. It's running, idling fine. Just changed out the oil in it. It only has it only has 2,000 hours on it, or 2,000 miles on it. About 340 hours. Not a bad little four-wheeler. I'm gonna go check the oil level and give it another drive with the new tires on it.